areas.
Welcome to Real Talk Twin Cities with Cheryl Kempenick of Coldwell Banker Burnet. I'm Eric Pires with Bell Mortgage. Donna's here, also of Coldwell Banker Burnet. We have a special guest, Mark Foreman. Hi, Mark.
Hello.
How are you doing tonight?
Very well.
All right. So if you're thinking of buying, selling, or refinancing anywhere in the Twin Cities, you can reach out to us at realtalktwincities.com or call or text 612-735-0553. We're here every Sunday night at 6 o'clock, bringing you local expert advice on all things real estate. And coming up tonight, we have some exciting information, particularly what city has been ranked #1 as the most affordable for home buyers. Also, we're going to talk about when you should sell. Should you sell your home now or wait until spring? Are there any benefits to selling your home on a contract for deed? And there's some crucial aspects to that that I wasn't aware of that are very important to consider. Also, when is the best time to sell investment property? Mark's going to chime in on that. There's some tax implications, and you might be surprised about the answers. I know I was. Also, we're going to talk about what's going on with rates, and right now we have just a little recap on some market stats of what's going on right now, Donna, in the market, the real estate market, that is.
Lots of good things going on. We see through the end of the week, November 8th, new listings decreased by about 3%. Pending sales were up, though, 2%.
Okay.
And inventory increased 4% over this time last year. So I'm wondering how much this weather is playing into what's going on in the marketplace. What do you think, Cheryl?
The weather definitely does have an impact on buyers getting out there and taking a look at properties. When it comes to the inventory, there are some pockets, though, that do have a decrease in inventory, especially the condos and the townhomes. The traditional single-family homes, that inventory is up a little bit. We've got some sellers that have decided to come on the market that have realized some equity over the past few years now that the foreclosures are down. This week, I think I had 3 or 4 buyers contacting me looking for condos on the Skyway. Really tired of that cold.
Yeah.
Don't want to go out.
Yeah,
And thinking about how to get to work, if they're living downtown, just walking through the Skyway.
I agree. I have quite a few buyers as well looking for things in that under 200 market too, and there's not that much inventory.
Mm-hmm. How about that $1 million range? I heard you mentioning that before.
Surprisingly, October had 40 sales over $1 million. That's huge.
That is huge.
Yeah, so apparently the people with a lot of money, maybe they need to do something before the year end. Mark, you can probably talk to that when we start discussing things with you. But that's a great market to be in right now. If you're thinking about selling your home, you can give us a call at 612-735-0553. There's a lot of $1 million buyers out there.
Okay, and are that mostly suburbs or condos, or I mean, where the $1 million homes are? Do you have any idea where they're? Is it spread out all over, or are there?
We see $1 million sales happening, of course, around the lakes in Minneapolis,
Okay.
Medina, out near Lake Minnetonka, Orono area, and even downtown Minneapolis. There's quite a few happening there.
Mhm.
Downtown St. Paul and Summit Avenue still suffering a little bit in that upper bracket market.
So maybe there's some good deals right now. So it's a good time to buy and to sell $1 million homes.
There are some good deals out there. One thing that happens during the fourth quarter is a lot of sellers start getting a little bit nervous that their home isn't selling, there's not quite as many showings, and so they start dropping their prices, or once they get into negotiations, they're agreeing to lower prices, which brings a great deal for the buyers, and the sellers gain too, because they get it sold before the end of the year.
One of the things that we hear a lot during this time of year is, should I put my house on the market now or should I wait till spring? We have that conversation a lot, and I think that people shouldn't be afraid to put their house on the market now. There are situations where you have to, and what I would tell a seller that's considering it, you're going to have less competition, so you're probably going to see a little bit higher price. Anybody that's out in the marketplace now looking has to buy. You know, they're not out there because they like the cold weather, and and the homes show so nicely during this time of year as people start putting up their holiday decorations.
I
Right.
agree. The other thing too is currently foreclosures are making up less than 10% of the market compared to 20% last year and 33% in 2012.
Right.
And the median sale price is up 7% for 2014. So it is a good time if you've been on the fence thinking about selling to get into the market. I know myself, I have about 12 to 15 buyers receiving auto emails just waiting for
Yes.
new properties to
Me
come on the
too.
market.
Yep. And January is a really popular month for the major employers in our metro area for new hires and relocations. So a lot of employees have more time off during the holiday season. So they plan their home buying tours during that time because they have a little more time to look. So if your house isn't on the market, then you're not in the war for getting your home sold. So it's something to think about. Even though it's the holidays, you can put your home on the market, and if you've got a party or you've got relatives coming over, you can decline a showing if you need to. Life needs to go on, and you need to attend to family situations and work around that.
And even if it's going to be an extended period of time, let's say it's a 4-day weekend that you don't want to have your home available, we can mark it temporarily not available for showings. And then you won't
Exactly.
be bothered during that time period. The other thing that we need to keep in mind for our buyers is interest rates are still very low right now. And the buyers need to take advantage of those low rates in order to buy more home. As those rates go up, they can afford less, right, Eric?
That's right. It's called the cost of waiting. And with each half a point hike in the interest rate, your buying power, with your average, median sale price of $213,000, your buying power goes down about $15,000. So that's significant.
Right, so we've, all of our buyers that we're working with that have been pre-qualified to buy a home, we want to make sure that the amount that they've been pre-qualified for, that they can find the home that's going to work for them. So we don't run into January and suddenly instead of a $300,000 home, they're only qualified for a $275,000 home.
Mm-hmm.
The other good thing about listing your home at this time of year is everybody in the industry is a little bit less busy. So we all have more time to focus on you, your listings, and getting your home sold. You can end up with a quicker transaction as the inspectors, appraisers, lenders, underwriters, and title companies are all a little less busy, so we can get these transactions done quickly and we can still get them closed before the end of the year.
And we have buyers right now that can't find what they're looking for. So don't be afraid to put your house on the market because there is a market for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's one calling right now.
Yeah. Miles, maybe you
Miles,
get
can
that.
you?
Yeah, so if you are thinking about selling or if you're thinking about buying or refinancing, please reach out to us at realtalktwincities.com. You can call or text 612-735-0553. That's 612-735-0553.
Recently, yesterday in fact, I helped some folks with a contract for deed. Although a lender is not involved, I was just knew more about it than they did and got them payment schedules and just consulting for the most part. And it was $650,000 home. They got a contract for deed at 5%, and there's a balloon, and I expect to refinance them out of that contract for deed in a few years once one of the buyers has a little more time away from a foreclosure, which, by the way, there are a lot of rules and questions. When, after a short sale, how soon can I buy or refi? realtalktwincities.com, you can get a hold of me. I can email you answers for all of that. But what do you think? I mean, a contract for deed, we've all heard about it. Is it a good idea to sell your house on a contract for deed? What happens?
I think it really depends on the situation and who the buyers and the sellers are. I've actually done, probably 30 contract for deeds over the past few years. And most of them were special situations. Either it was a distressed condo building, or I was working with developers, attorneys, banks, where we just couldn't get conventional financing because there were too many empty units in the project. So we came up with a contract for deed option to get us to the ratios where we could obtain FHA or conventional financing. The other reason that we did it too was when there was so much competition in the market, and there were a lot of people that had had a foreclosure or a bankruptcy, it was another way to attract more buyers into the market. So a lot of those people, just because they had something bad happen in their lives, they still had a great job, they had good credit history, and it was a good option for them and for the sellers. So the sellers end up getting a down payment. They're acting as the bank. They can typically get a higher interest rate. Usually it's about 1 to 1.5 points higher than what you might get. And for the buyer, there's no mortgage insurance. So even though the interest rate is higher, the monthly payments aren't that different than if they were getting a conventional or FHA loan.
You usually put 10% down. And the difference between, I guess, owning and owning on a contract for deed is that the buyer gets equitable title and the seller keeps the legal title to the property. This means that both the seller and the buyer have an interest in the property. To get the deed, the buyer has to satisfy all of the requirements of the contract. Once all the requirements have been met, the seller transfers the deed to the buyer. But if the buyer does not fulfill the contract, in other words, starts missing payments, the seller can take the home back. And usually that's only in 60 days.
Right, a 60-day cancellation period. And usually those balloon payments will be 3 to 5 years. And that's something you really have to keep an eye on. Make sure that you are working on your credit.
More on contract for deed when we come back. Also, we're going to hear from Mark Foreman. He's our special guest of Foreman and Earhart. He's the managing partner, a CPA. And we'll talk about the first in affordability in the country. No hints, but it's pretty close to home. We'll be right back on Real Talk Twin Cities.